Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Mahler67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good too. Got to just relax today, play some games, watch some shows, fall asleep, and re-wake up again. It was good. It was good. Just another one of those days, man. Just it's cool having like so many months with 5 weekends, because everything I do is always planned for the second and fourth.
Yeah.
So when there's a fifth, that effectively gives me 2 weeks of no like VTM that I have to worry about. 2 weekends of no VTMs I have to worry about, which is cool, but still kind of like, a lot like, it's just a thing. So yeah, pretty chill day. I don't know if you done anything for your weekend so far. We finally started playing the repo game together with Jordan last night. That was pretty fun. It would be funner if I wasn't always the last one alive, and like I didn't have to creep along and try to take care of everything. Yeah, no, those moments I'm just like, I just want to self-destruct right now. Like I don't want to do this.
I don't blame you. I would totally I would just done it. I just caved in.
Yeah, if we had like the one game where it was like, oh, you need 18 but you only have like 4 and everyone's dead because everyone ran into the guy in the very beginning. Those games I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
But whenever like we have like half of it already done, we have the area found, you both just ran into the bad guy and just instantly got killed, and I'm like, I just need to gather like 40, like 4,000 more or whatnot. Like I can maybe do that, but I'm not enjoying myself.
No.
Especially since I play with a light on, and that game is not good with a light on because it makes it harder to see. Like I should just turn off my light. But that is what it is whenever we play games together. Sooner or later, one person will have to do everything because the other one dies, and it's like, okay, Austin, you gotta clutch this. It's all up to you.
No,
like, don't make me.
Nope, I will seriously just self-destruct.
We used to do that in Little Big Planet. Me and Josh, we would like play online together back when it was on the PS3, and just like if like we're playing really good, everyone's having a good time. And then the second we hit to a point where not everyone can complete and it's just me or him alone, we would like turn to the camera in like our little Sackboy bodies, put our hands up to our mouth, be like, oh no, too much pressure, and just run off the edge and kill ourselves and restart the whole level. Me and Josh loved it, but the other people played with us, like, they're like, why do you do that? We know you could have made it. I'm like, it was too much pressure, man. I couldn't handle it. I know what to do. I self-destruct whenever I'm by myself. But yeah, all right, Austin. Well, I think it's about time we get into our little game here that we watched. Austin, this week we watched Mythic Quest Season 1, and this is a show that you specifically wanted me to watch.
Yeah.
How'd you find the show, Austin?
So actually, what's really funny about this is I didn't even know the show existed at all, and I love Rob McElhenney. Rob McElhenney plays Mac in Always Sunny, and he's like the main character. He's one of the main characters in the show. But I only found this out because of the promotion they were doing with the side show of this. So they have a separate show called Side Quest. And and I saw the promotion on something, I think it was like TikTok or something, and I was like, wait, Rob McElhenney made this show? And I was like, I'm gonna have to look it up. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, Mythic Quest. And I was like, wait, he made this show? And then it was like, oh, Charlie Day was part of it, which Charlie Day is in Always Sunny too. And I was like, well, I'm going to check this out. Well, I found out that the only reason I never checked it out before is because it's on a platform I've never been on, and that was Apple TV. So, like, I didn't know anything about it, and then I told my buddy Mikey, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I watched it. I like it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So that's how I found it, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll watch it." And then I started realizing like Danny Putin was in it, and then a couple other people from other shows that show up. I'm like, hey, it's that person. So there's a lot of cool like different Easter eggs for this. There's a lot of different actors I know of. Like we were talking about the Penguin, that girl from the Penguins in there, and then what was it? The other ones from New Girl.
New Girl. Yep.
Yeah. So
and that's not even like all the characters we know from everything. Like you mentioned, Putin from Community. There's also Joe, the secretary girl. She's from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You also have what's John DiMaggio, of course, from
John DiMaggio,
voice acting fame, and also Futurama. Like everyone knows him for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one programmer girl who's not very good, but she's that way. She's in SpaceX or Space Force.
Oh, okay.
Yep. She's a funny comedian.
Oh yeah. Okay, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I found this show. I enjoy it. I think it's great. I do think season 1 suffers from a lot. Because it's mostly a season 1 show, like where it's just like usually it's one of those things where you're just like, oh man, just watch the anything past the first season. I think that's that show, because this first season's a little rough around the edges. There's not a lot of it. It can get overbearing with some people, and I totally understand with that. Like when I first watched it, I was like, all right, some of these characters are really annoying, but I do believe that the second season's better. So, I think the seasons afterwards are better. But what do you think of? So you got to watch season 1. What do you think of it so far? So,
all right. So I think, all in all, I enjoyed the show. I have a couple reservations for it, which I guess with what you said about the second season and up, it gets better or whatnot, or like you feel better. Retroactively, I understand that because like we watched Community for one is one of those shows that you watch the first season and you will either really like it or not really like it, but then if you continue, you end up loving the series. And so I'm like, that's very possible it could be here. The issue that I'm having currently is that everyone in this show is kind of a piece of trash, except for maybe like 2 or 3 of them. But they have like certain things being like sometimes the reason why certain things work doesn't seem right to me, if that makes sense, right? Like for instance, the creative director guy, the guy Ian or whatever his name is, Ian. He is super narcissistic and is obviously making things worse for a lot of stuff, right? But then in the end, he solves the problem because he always had the thing solved type of thing, and I'm like that sucks. Because like I'm very much viewing this as a Community-like show. Because like Community had like the group of people who were not all great people. Some of them were kind of pieces of trash. Some of them didn't realize they were a piece of trash. Other of them were like just meant to be the hated character, like Pierce was, right? This show kind of spreads that about too much, in my opinion. Too many characters have those like qualities where you're like, ooh, I don't like this. Like personally, I freaking hate Joe. I hate the assistant girl with all passion. And it's because they set her up to be like the super Republican Christian girl. Like when she started yelling at people for forming a union, I had a guttural reaction where I'm like, I would have like, I don't like violence, but when you do that, and when she says like the worms will get what they want and they will like it, I was like, ooh, I got really upset at that. And then like her obviously crushing on Ian, and then like the whole like dynamic between her and Ian, the whole like alpha dog, like that whole conversation that they say, it's just like, you have to show that you're more alpha than them, blah blah blah, blah, like all that stuff. I'm like, this is just like, it's, I don't know, it's cringy to me. I know that there's probably some people who will like be like, ha ha, that's hilarious, blah blah blah, and there may be some people out there who are like, yeah, alpha dog, well, like, because you know you got crazy people like that. I despise that so much.
Oh, there's an episode next season that completely makes fun of the alpha dog thing.
It doesn't matter if it makes fun of it,
yeah.
though. Like the issue is that they deem it good. Like those two people deem it good, and that's my problem. At first, I was actually against Danny Putin's character. I didn't like Danny Putin's character because like they made him, he's the monetization person. He does all the monies type stuff. It's such a departure from what I'm used to Danny Putin's characters as, that he's like the asshole. But normally whenever he's the asshole in these things, he's also like
friendly.
Like he doesn't realize he's being that, or like he's like, hey, I know I'm being a jerk, but it's for a good reason type deal. He's just being a jerk to be a jerk. And
he's true shark.
It wasn't until they have the scene where I busted out laughing, where the one girl is talking to him about trying to get the other girl her job back, and he's like, I do have a dream. You ever heard DuckTales? And I went on like, because for anyone who doesn't know, Danny Putin voices one of the three kids in DuckTales.
Yeah, and then that's what. Okay, let's be real. That's the only real reason I made you watch the show. Actually,
oh really? That's the only reason.
Saw that reference. And I was
there's
like,
a couple other
he's
ones.
gotta watch it. Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
but
there
like,
is.
That was the main one where I was like, okay, he's gonna watch it, and I think that you're gonna love the rest of the show because I don't know, like, did you feel like a difference in the show? Because like the thing is like this was filmed during like COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's one episode that is COVID, and then they come back like a year later, and I feel like the tone of the show changes a little bit. Like they get used to writing it, because I think the last episode is different from all the other episodes.
The last like 2-ish episodes are different.
Yeah.
I think so. I have a couple thoughts about the last episode specifically, just because that's the paintball episode.
Pretty much.
Whenever I mentioned like community kind of vibes or whatever, whenever the last episode was a like fantastical thing, I was like, this is the paintball episode. If next season they don't have an episode like this, it's going to feel weird. So they're going to do another episode like this. And who knows? Like maybe it will be another Everlight or whatever they called it. Maybe it will be a like, I don't know, they go to a Ren Fair or something dumb like that. I don't know. Who knows? But I was cool with the vibe. And I think the biggest thing that caught me off guard was the 4th episode, where it completely made like it jumped into a different end, where it's just like, this comedy where like everyone's kind of a piece of trash. One episode of like a husband and wife who find each other in a game store, create a game, and then they let success and corporations destroy their dream effectively by not listening to each other. And we talked during Repo, and you said like, no, they're connected. You just like, they just don't really go into detail about how they're connected. And you told me that it was one person. I was like, that's not it. And I think you may have spoiled one of them, but that's fine. But later in the episode, in like the last couple episodes, he moves the stuff, and you find the pillar that the one girl carved their stuff into. And then he explains to her like, hey, it's because he didn't listen to his partner that they fell apart and their company crumbled. I don't want that to be a thing here, so put your name on it. And I was like, okay, that tied that all together. That was a good tie-in. I was wondering if I missed something because the only thing it explained at the end of that episode was the stupid little mascot you saw everywhere, the little like pink ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, was that all that episode was just a like long, like deep, dark story about a husband and wife falling out to explain a mascot character that's in their world? Like that, I was okay with that after I watched that, because I'm like, okay, that would be something to do in a comedy. You make this really dark episode, and then all it is the backstory for a mascot who's in the background of certain shots. Like that would be that was hilarious to me. And then they tied it further, and I was like, okay, it was better. I definitely feel like there's heart in the writing, and I think it's kind of like Community season 1 and like other shows, Animal Patrol. It's like Animal Patrol in the same way, where in the first season you're kind of what did I say?
Patrol, but it's
Patrol.
Control.
Okay, yeah, it's Animal Patrol, Control, whatever it is. In the first season, you don't really feel connected to a lot of the characters because they're getting their footing in, and then the second season I felt was a lot better, and I cared more for each individual character.
Yeah.
And that's why I think may happen with this series as it stands. Yeah, no, I like their casting. I like their different actors. I found it funny. I saw a person on here I only know from a YouTube series, and I brought it up to you, and that's Ashley Burch. I was like, she's super familiar. I know her. Like, her image is in my head. I'm like, I don't know what I know her from. And she may have done other works that I'm knowledgeable of, but the main thing I knew her from was Will Wheaton's Tabletop, because she's on the Betrayal on House on the Hill episode, and that was the episode that got me into Will Wheaton's Tabletop, ultimately got me into my favorite tabletop, which is Betrayal on House on the Hill, and ultimately got me to like become someone who plays tabletops all the time.
Yeah.
And so whenever I saw that, and I was like, yes, I like this character, no matter how much everyone else like finds you annoying. I find your character's awesome.
But it was, her story gets pretty interesting later, so it's really fun. Like the characters develop a lot in the next couple of seasons. There is an episode every season where there is a serious episode, and it does tie into what's going on at the time, or what is going on in that season. I will say, I just finished the last season like 2 days ago. I finished it up.
How many seasons is there?
There's 4. They just came out. They just ended the 4th one 2 days ago. Like,
okay.
There's gonna be one more season, because the ending of that one, I was like, there has to be another season. The thing is what's really funny is you're gonna start seeing a lot more people in this show that you're gonna be like, hey, wait a minute, I know that person. Because there's the series episode this season coming up. The main guy that plays a certain character, he is from Silicon Valley. So I was like, oh, he'll remember him. But then I looked at some other ones and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was that dude. Because he has.
If Camille shows up, I'm gonna be very excited. That's just.
I don't think Camille showed up yet. So
they missed it.
Yeah, I know. I think he was doing that other show with not Silicon Valley guy. It was the other Silicon Valley guy, the guy that played Guilfoyle. It was Party Down. That's what it was called. It's with him and the guy from Severance.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly, that's a show that I've been wanting us to do, but I haven't watched it yet.
That's understandable.
But this show, I will say this. The first season, in my opinion, is a little set up. Did you notice the Ted character that was in this? Yeah, there was a character from Ted that was in this. So we get revealed that Ian has a child.
Yeah,
his Poopy Shoes
or whatever his name was.
But his mom is Ted's mom in Ted.
Oh, I don't recall that. No.
I know, probably because it's been forever since we've watched Ted, but she's Ted's mom.
Okay.
which then you find out because you were like, they must have a hacker. Like, I don't understand why. And I'm like, oh yeah,
So
it's because
so you know what's funny, right? Is after I had that conversation with you, there was only there's two possibilities in my head. But only the second one only came to fruition once I started watching the episode where he got revealed. And I'm like, actually, that would make a lot of sense, right?
Yep.
And the one hacker I thought was going to be part of the other people that was trying to steal Poppy, the John DiMaggio's corporation. I thought they were going to be the hacker, and that's why they're trying to get her into them, because they're stealing code from them, and they're doing that very Silicon Valley-esque story, because that was actually a point in Silicon Valley, was that their code was getting stolen. I thought that's what it was going to be. And then during that episode, whenever they started making a big faux pas about who's going to unmask the dark person, like the Dark Knight, blah blah, like he's going to be the White Knight, blah 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 blah, and they're explaining all that stuff. It's like it's going to be his dad type deal thing. I'm like, or it could be his dad, because he mentioned that his dad tried to take the company. And then I also thought about the kid, the streamer kid, because I'm like, it makes sense if he's really good at the game. What also doesn't make sense to me personally is how like the battle happened to a degree. Like it all made sense, like there's Val, blah 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 blah, but it's the fact that like he beats this person up, and then he hacks the game to get full health again, get magic that he shouldn't be able to have, and I'm like, this delegitimizes this whole fight. He lost. Like, why are they continuing? Like, they could just like end it and be like, you cheat. Like, you can't win without cheating. You're useless. You're trash. Get out of here, kid. Like, why even continue it? And then they continue it, and then they have the whole scene with the whole like taking off the clothes, dagger. He's really good at it. They make note of it in the early game. Great come around to that explanation. And then it reveals to be Poontang, and I was like, okay, the kid makes sense. What I did like, and was a good twist, is that you find out that Pui was his actual son. Like, I didn't expect that, and I was kind of like, okay, that's cool. And I actually vibed with the old man, the CW guy, when he gets all excited. He's like, the narration has been restored, and he's running through the halls. I was like, yeah, no, that it all like loops around, like in the very beginning, the idea of like Darth Vader kind of deal thing. It made me laugh. Like, I was like, okay, cool, yeah. I like that. But no, I did not expect Pui until like the end there, effectively. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like so my favorite episode this season has to be the episode where they find out that there's a bunch of like anti-Semitic Nazis like playing
the Nazis in the game. Yeah.
I just love that, because that, and I love the episode with the shovel where it's like, yeah, they're just gonna draw dicks in the ground, and he's like, no they won't. It's like, look, I made a dick. And I was like, yep, man, that's normal. People would do that. Like, I know so many people that would just draw, use it,
and that's a real thing in game design. Like they always think about that. They're like, what, how long until people will start drawing things? And it's a question on if you allow it or you don't allow it,
I liked the little thing with that they were trying to brainstorm, like trying to get the Nazis out of the game, and they did like that. What was it? The little like members of like the good or whatever it is, and like they were like, yeah, we're gonna have to ban those people too. We'll have to ban those people too.
Well, they just made a list of all the people that aren't great, and then they did a head to head, and whoever won gets kicked, and it was the Nazis still. It's like, this was a complete waste of time. But like, for instance, right, I hated the concept that the Ian had, where he's like, we're going to like dig into it. We're going to like add this emoji that allows them to show that. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing in the world. Even if he thinks it's a smart play, if this show plays it out as a smart thing, I'm going to get really upset. Like,
oh yeah.
And they play out that like everyone joined that one like hate raid group, and then they just like push them all into their own server. It's like, that's interesting, that's cool, I guess, but at the same time, it's like,
What stops them from not making their account?
I mean, theoretically, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just something to me that I'm just like, just, they just got thrown into their own little world, I guess, to hate and do whatever they want with, I guess.
Mhm.
No, I think my favorite episode was the super serious episode. I really liked the acting in it. I really liked the story that was told during it. And then you get really sad at the end, and it's just like, yeah, that's depressing.
Bummer.
But
Yeah,
it is what it is. The final episode too, the like LARP episode, was also really cool too, just because of the I don't know,
I liked Danny Putin that episode. It was really funny where he was just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
well,
he's like, I don't like cosplay. I'm not doing this.
yeah, well, I like the fact that like he reveals, because you knew he was going to be a heel the whole episode when he walked in normal, and you're like, okay, how are you going to get drawn into this? I thought for 1 second there was going to be someone who like comes dressed up and they're like, I'm the Dark Knight, and they're like, who is this person? They're not allowed to do this, and they just like beat the crap out of anyone, and then the same thing happens. But they changed up how what goes on. And I thought that was going to be revealed to be Danny Putin the whole time, like he was actually really into this and he needed to be fought and beaten. But instead, they made a deal with him to like help, and then he's like, I took 5 years of fencing, and it's like, oh freak. And then he shoots the other girl with the arrow. It's like, I minored in archery. Like, I like that. And then how the two of them fought together, and then they turned it into like a super realistic fight scene at the end. I thought was funny. Though when I was watching it, whenever they show like scenes in movies or TV shows where it's super realistic, I try thinking to myself, like, what does this look like to everyone else? And for most of the part, I think it kind of translates pretty good until the end when David Putin walks up and he's like, I am the darkness, and he starts like blasting with it. I'm like, what does that look like? Like, is it just David Putin walking around going, cool, darkness? Like, I don't know.
It's kind of like what I bring up, like watching Ghost, and when Patrick Swayze goes into like Whoopi Goldberg's body and then they start dancing. I was like, I just want to see it.
Yeah, you just want to see what everyone else sees, not what they see. Yeah.
No,
that's exactly it.
That's one of the most satisfying things in cinema, if they ever do that, where it just makes it look stupid in a way, or it's really well done. Because I remember like watching Fight Club for the first time and then realizing like, Tyler Durden is Edward Norton, and then he like throws himself through the glass. He's like, stop, and he's like dragging himself. I'm like, okay, that's very well done. But I've had other ones where like, people are like tripping balls or something, and then they think they're doing something, and they're on a couch like,
yeah, I just
like that,
I just want to see how it translates. That's all it was, and that's how it was in that episode. But it makes me wonder if they're going to do that in the next season, which you already know, but I don't. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I think like, oh no, go ahead if you got something.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I think you'll like the other seasons, because every season does have one of those serious stories, and they do them. Every single one is very well done. It is super well done. Like, this next one is really, really good. But I think season 3 one is just, when a show pulls me in and then I feel emotions for that show, that's when I'm like, oof. Like I get like really, it messes with me. Like when it starts getting me emotionally, it messes with me, and I'm like, nope. I was like, this show's good, like, because it's doing it. And that's season 3, the series episode, is how I feel about that one. Okay. This one's pretty good. The next episode that you watch is pretty good too. But it ties it in really well. But next season, I think, is Danny Putin's season. I think you'll really love Danny Putin next season, because his whole storyline is great. You're going to see a lot of like, you can tell that like, I think Apple threw money at this place. They were just like, hey, this is working, let's throw money at it. Because did you notice like those cuts that they have where it shows like video game?
Oh, I the second that
like
it happened.
and
No,
stuff
it
like
was
that.
it was For Honor was one of the games that they
For
showed,
Honor was one, yeah.
and then the other one I think was Assassin's Creed. They did the Assassin's Creed Odyssey or whatever like that. And whenever they started showing those, I was like, I wonder if they got the rights to these, or if they have like a deal with. Like Apple TV has like a deal, or Apple or something like that has some form of deal.
So the show is made by Apple TV and Ubisoft. So that's why you get those. Because like if you watch at the end of the credits, it says Ubisoft. So you'll be like, oh, because I wondered about that too. I was like, wow, because like they bring up like Diablo in one and a couple other ones. So I was like, oh, well, maybe that's it. So
yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised there was no like bugs happening then if Ubisoft made it, because their games are horrifically buggy, and they very much have bad consumerism. Anywho, no, I'm glad you pointed that out, because that was something that I was looking at and I was like, hey, because For Honor has like the starting battle styles that like what's that game we used to play on Steam? It was like the Knights where Chivalry. It has like in Chivalry 2 where like the game would begin, you would see like a small cutscene, then you begin, you'd be like, ah, and you go murder people. They have very similar styles to that. The other thing I did want to bring up, because I'm like, oh, I should bring this up to my one roommate who's a game designer. I don't think he would like the show that much. And the reason why I think he would get hung up on their depiction of the game art studio. Because there is some aspects of it that's true, like the paintings on the wall, the setups and everything, I think are fine. They're only showing the technical end, they're not showing the artistic end in anything.
So, I will say this. I don't know. I don't remember the first season if they brought in Glenn. Glenn's the artistic like head guy.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I think they've only
they
had
bring him out in season 2. I think it's season 2 around that area. So season 2, they talk about the creative. Oh yeah, because it's an expansion. They do another expansion or something. Because like the show has like pretty much it's just like, hey, it's an MMO. We're gonna do an expansion. So anything new is like an expansion.
Yeah.
So they do something like that, and they bring him in. And they're like, hey, do this and this. And he's like, but we did all of this art already. And he's like, no, it's terrible. It's good, but we just don't.
That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about like the art, like pictures and concepts. I'm talking about like the model team, like the people who are modeling these things.
Yeah,
and
they bring that up a lot. Like that guy Glenn.
They tried to show it a little bit in this, which didn't make sense. Whenever they had the Poppy, right? She's like, I made the shovel. He's like, it's a shovel. It looks stupid. Blah 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 blah. Right? And then you never see her like modeling anything. She's only messing with code, which code is very important to the game, but the coding end and the modeling end don't overlap the same way that people think. Somewhere in the middle with the rigging end, it does, but not that way. Like I don't even know all that much because I only went to school for it. I didn't like get into the field, but he is in the field. So he would probably see certain things and get kind of It's very similar. And I thought about this because I just saw a YouTube short of this. Have you ever heard of the show called The Pit?
Yeah, actually.
It's like an ER show. It's called The Pit because it takes place in Pittsburgh. Well, my friend Steve is an ER emergency ambulance driver for Pittsburgh, and he watches that show religiously. He's like, it does really good in certain aspects and then really poorly in other aspects. And he loves the show, but he will always talk bad about it because they will say like, hey, this issue happened, we have 20 minutes to get them to this location. And he's like, that's stupid. That location is 45 minutes away. You have no chance. They have never been to Pittsburgh. And then it's like, we have to go to here. This accident took place here. He's like, wait, so you have this hospital here. You're going up to this car crash and then taking them over here. Why not take him to this one? Because they don't have the rights to this one, so they take him to this one. He's like, it's so he gets hung up on the things that aren't correct in the show versus the things that they do right. And I'm thinking that he would have the same issue with this show, because he's like, I get hung up on the fact that they think that programmers can do this, or that these creative designers have this power to do X, Y, and Z, blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I may throw it out to him, see what he thinks if he ever gets to watch it. But I know I was just thinking about that. But yeah, no. All in all, good show. I like it. You're vouching for the later seasons, so I definitely watch it. There's plenty of shows like that. I say all the time, Steven Universe season 1, you can skip 80% of it and then get into the next seasons, and then you're just like glued to it. But there's a lot in the first season of Steven Universe that you need to watch in order to make like later seasons make sense. But it's the same thing. You watch only like season 1, you're going to be like, this show is my jam. You watch season 1, season 2, you're glued. So we'll see. Well, I'm excited to watch the next season. I did find it funny. Ashley Birch naturally has graying hair because she's older, right? But she's portraying a really young character in this show. And so in the quarantine episode, whenever she has to reveal her hair and she's like, oh my gosh, you have that hair, blah, 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 blah. It makes me laugh because I'm like, they had to come up with a story in character for why her hair doesn't look the same. And it's like, that's fine. That's all good. I think she looks great with the gray hair and everything that she has going on there. But I did love that. Oh, side note, sorry, I'm just kind of gushing on certain characters. The tall Canadian guy they got, I don't even know if he's Canadian, but the super tall guy that Ian gets all worked up about, I love him. And then the fact that they threw him in the basement with the other woman, if she's married, whatever, but if they're not, I hope they like get together, because she deserves happiness because she deals with too much crap.
She deals with the community.
She's the community manager, and she's just like, I deal with death threats. Like, oh my gosh, that's true.
I miss a window. It gets, I think season 2, it really picks up, because I do like season 2's like whole storyline. I think it's great.
Cool.
And season 3 is great, and I just finished 4. I was gonna say all of them are really good. I just finished they only have 4 episodes of the side quest.
Okay.
And the side quests are like episodic episodes. They're not like characters from Mythic Quest. It's people that deal with something with Mythic Quest. Mm-hmm. Like the first side quest one's like it's about like the art director and like his life, and then they do one about a girl that like goes to a live concert when she's a kid of Mythic Quest music, and then so she becomes a cello player. And there's like a whole episode of that, and like her like being a cello player.
It seems like it's a series of the one-off episodes. Yeah.
They're really well done too. Like I was like, wow, these are like the one I watched like with the cello one. It was like really, really good. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, that's rough.
They're making the Mythic expanded universe so they can then slowly work in those characters and then make a movie.
Yeah.
Top of the line. 6 seasons in a movie, man. 6 season movies.
Yeah, no, I remember like watching this first season, and then when Danny Putin looked over and he's like, have you ever heard of DuckTales? And I was like, oh my gosh, he's bringing DuckTales in. And, like, I just started laughing. I was like, yeah, because he was in DuckTales. So, yeah. Because I thought it was really funny. I remember Brandon, I started watching the show when like me and Brandon came out to Pitt last.
Okay.
And it was the episode where it was like he was trying to sell the sword. Have we seen that episode?
No, that's not in the first episode, man.
Oh, that's right. Dang. Okay, it is the second season. Okay.
Oh wait, you talking about Danny Putin, where he's trying to sell the one sword that's like super expensive.
Yeah.
And then like a bunch of people buy it, and he's like, the side princess make my job it doesn't matter. I have no meaning in my job anymore, and he gets all upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that it wasn't a rich guy that bought it. It was like some dude that like lived in a trailer and he used all of his life savings.
Exactly. And he's like, that's
Yeah.
it. Like it's draining the people who don't have anything to give everything that they do have.
Yeah.
That's the goal of my job. And it's like, man, that's messed up. But that's basically what makes me laugh, right? This is produced by Ubisoft. That completely tracks.
Yeah, it does.
Completely tracks. EA's over there doing their like, yep, buddy, we agree.
Oh man, they actually poke fun of a lot of games actually, like in the series, like about how games work. That's what I actually really like about it, because they're like, I think it's next season or the season after, they make fun of like a really popular game and like the problems that big game has that people are finally starting to realize. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is a huge problem. So, but you'll know once you see it, you'll be like, I know exactly what they're trying to do here.
Yep.
But yeah,
I mean, Mythic Quest is basically World of Warcraft, what it looks like.
yeah, pretty much.
Which
like
also, like, no offense to the creators, this is showing their age a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whenever they're like, we have an MMO, like our game is an MMO, right? And they show the graphics that they have here, it's like it's World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what all you think of what a MMO is,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably an old time gamer. You know, like you have some of these newer games. I don't know if you're as into this space as you are. A lot of MMOs nowadays aren't like this. They're much higher quality, much higher, like, yeah. And they kind of like show that a little bit with the game that Pooty goes off to, that little space mission game. Also, I am a little mad at you, Austin, for one single thing. And that is, in this series, there's a scene where Ashley Burch's character and CW, the older man who's the writer, are showing each other's how like playing the game can cause emotional and watching cutscenes can show emotional. And they show a cutscene from a game called Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's a very emotional scene with his horse that I haven't seen yet. And now I'm super depressed because now I know something happens to my horse at some point. So thanks, Austin. I didn't know that was in the game.
Actually, okay, so what's really funny is that is not in the game. That is part of a demo that they use to show the mechanics of the deaths of the horse. That's not in the game, I promise you. Because I was like, wait, when did that happen? Because when I saw that, I was like, when did that happen? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, it was a demo that they were showing. Okay, they didn't. I think they did that because they didn't want to reveal anything like that. Or they maybe
Austin,
trolled people.
I'll trust you here. I don't believe you.
Whatever, man. I don't remember it. If it happened, I don't remember it.
I'll laugh if there's like a repercussion to it. Like you only get this cutscene if you're at like max favor of your horse or something like that. Because that's something that they would do. You know what that scene reminded me of whenever I saw it in this? I'm like, this is like the scene from Jake when the dog gets killed. You just get super depressed and angry, and you're like, I want to kill the people who did this. It's a freaking animal, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So watch yourself. Things may be coming for you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
finally.
goodness. Take me away.
Fine.
A special place. All right, Austin. Well, I think that basically covers it for this week of Bros and Shows, of watching Mythic Quest Season 1. Yeah, thank you. I think next week we're going to do Season 2. Everything should be good for us just to be able to watch it. I don't think we have anything happening for the foreseeable future.
I think actually after this season, we have Invincible.
Because Invincible ends?
Yeah.
Okay,
It already
okay.
ended.
It already ended. Okay.
Yeah, it ended last week. So
Okay, so we want to do Mythic Quest Season 2 next week, and then
we'll do 2 next week,
Invincible.
and then we'll do Invincible. Because
Solid.
then after that time, we'll probably take another break, like right after the third season, because Daredevil will be done probably.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched any of that yet.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Austin, you really need to get a better poker face in your life. No.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, Austin. You say a lot. Anyways, Austin, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode today. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you all so much for tuning in.